Dear one, stop for a moment right now. Not because I asked, but because your spirit has been trying to pull you to a place of silence for days, like someone gasping for air. Take a deep breath with me, slowly, as if you were lifting a weight off your chest with both hands. This word that has reached you at this exact moment did not come by chance. It did not come by algorithm. It did not come by coincidence. You were led here by an invisible route, and I know a part of you feels this clearly, even if your head tries to doubt it. You are not reading this out of curiosity. You are here because something up above moved, and heaven found a way to touch your destiny. I am going to tell you with all firmness and all tenderness. There was a judgment in heaven regarding your path. A serious, profound judgment, the kind that isn't made in jest. And before you think of guilt, before you think of punishment, listen. It is not a judgment to humiliate you. It is a judgment to decide, once and for all, if what they tried to tie to your life will continue holding you back, or if it will be cut right now. The difference is that this time you are not alone in this courtroom. Archangel Michael stood up for you. He didn't stand up for a perfect story. He stood up for what no one saw. He stood up for your hidden struggle, for your trembling faith, for your heart that took a beating, and yet did not become like the evil that wounded you. In this instant, while you read, the spiritual world is closer than you imagine. And I know this might sound too big, but let me show you in a way your heart understands. Imagine a hall of light that isn't common light. Imagine a silence so strong that even thoughts turn into whispers. Imagine ancient books, not of common paper, but of eternal memory, being opened as if your entire history were exposed. The record of your soul was placed on a table that does not shake, and there, before the throne, what was confusing on earth became clear in heaven. And Archangel Michael, the one who guards God's people, did not appear with anger. He appeared with authority and compassion. He didn't come to accuse you, he came to defend. You need to understand this. There are things that were built against you without you realizing it. Small lies repeated for years, small guilts you carried as if they were yours, small labels stuck on you, small doors you left open out of exhaustion. And yes, there were also attacks that weren't just emotional nor just human. There were words spoken in the shadows. There were intentions placed against your name. There were people smiling to your face and planting thorns behind your back. You felt the effect of this as weight, as confusion, as delay, as a tiredness that won't go away, like the sensation of always trying and never arriving. And you might have thought it was bad luck, that it was just a phase, that it was just life. But in heaven, this was called by its right name, accusation. And here is the revelation that changes the course. There was a woman who spoke your name in secret, a woman who might not even seem important, who perhaps goes unnoticed in the world, but who in some hidden place, with words that were not of blessing, tried to link your destiny to a wrong agreement. It's not that she has more power than God. She doesn't. But she tried to open a breach. She tried to use something of yours, a memory, an item, a symbol, an intention, as if placing it in a flame that accuses instead of illuminates. And you didn't even know. You weren't there to defend yourself. You didn't hear, you didn't see. You only felt the consequences. God heard. Archangel Michael saw, and that is why you are here now. Because what was said in the darkness is being pulled into the light. Secret things are being forced to appear. And let me tell you a phrase your heart needs to keep. Heaven is not exposing you to shame you. Heaven is exposing what held you to set you free. The target isn't you, the target is the trap. A few hours ago in the spiritual world, your name was almost crossed out of the book of favor. And I know that sounds scary. I know that image gives you a chill in your stomach, but listen to the rest. Almost. Almost because something incredible happened. Something no one expected. It wasn't a beautiful argument. It wasn't a performance. It was you. It was the way you kept loving even with a wounded heart. It was the way you didn't turn into the same coldness as those who betrayed you. It was the way that even with anger and pain you didn't turn to stone on the inside. This, which seems small on earth, weighs like gold in heaven. A single act of kindness without self-interest. A time you helped someone without asking for anything. A day you gave even when you had little. A forgiveness you offered even without receiving an apology. In the court of heaven, this became evidence. And this evidence changed the atmosphere. I'll tell you how it happens. When the accusation comes, it tries to show everything you did wrong, everything you thought wrong, everything you failed to do. It tries to reduce you to your worst day. It tries to convince you that you don't deserve it, that you aren't enough, that you missed your turn. And for a long time, you accepted these lies as if they were truths. You repeated phrases inside yourself that should never have become your home. I'm not good enough. No one stays with me. I always lose. Life is small. This is all I have. But heaven has a different ruler. Heaven looks at the heart. Heaven weighs the struggle. Heaven sees the intention, and heaven saw you in the middle of the night, when no one was applauding you, when no one saw you, when you were alone with God and your tears. That same night you thought you were sleeping. Archangel Michael was close, not as a distant legend, but as a true guard. He saw you turn your face into the pillow to hide the crying. He saw you swallow the pain so as not to worry anyone. He saw you hold someone in your heart who hadn't deserved that place for a long time. He saw your mix of strength and fragility, hope and fear, faith and exhaustion. And in that exact second, as if an invisible clock changed direction, something was altered on high. That is why this word arrived now. It was born from that sacred moment when heaven decided to give you one more chance to cross over. And I need you to understand the gravity of now. There is a short window. There is a time when heaven opens a door and asks for a response. Not just an emotional response, not a goosebump that passes. A response of attitude, because life changes when the heart agrees and the steps obey. And I'm going to ask you for a simple thing, just to seal that you are not here by chance. If something inside you felt this is for me, don't keep it just to yourself. Show a small sign of agreement. It could be a thank you so much. It could be a short comment saying I receive it. It could just be the decision within your chest. But make this gesture like someone saying to heaven, I am present. I will not look away now. This gesture doesn't buy God, but it aligns you with the moment. The judgment was heavy. For years, bad forces gathered evidence against you. Every time you diminished yourself, it became ammunition. Every time you accepted crumbs, it became an argument. Every time you went back to what broke you, it became a chain. And I am not speaking to condemn you, I am speaking to set you free, because heaven does not want to see you repeating the same cycle. And that is why, when the judgment was suspended, it opened two paths before you. Two real paths, not poetic ones. One path goes back to what you already know. Confusion, two-faced people, fake love, empty promises, tight finances, a numb heart, anxiety that eats your sleep, guilt that chases you, that sensation of living below what you were born to live. The other path is narrow, and many people don't see it with common eyes, but it is full of fire and light. It is the path of purpose, of clarity, of the definitive cut, of restoration. And here is the scene your spirit needs to see. Archangel Michael is at the entrance of this second path. He holds the sword in one hand and a sacred scroll in the other, and on this scroll is written your name, not as a label of the past, but as a mark of destiny. The sword doesn't shine to hurt you, it shines to cut the wrong agreement they tried to make against your future. But this doesn't happen if you stand still. This doesn't happen if you treat this moment like just another reading. This happens when you choose, when you walk, when you break with the internal lies that kept you small for too long. God is saying, with firm love, enough of accepting lies as truth. Enough of carrying guilt that isn't yours. Enough of asking for proof to believe and then ignoring the proofs you've already received. Enough of living as if you were last in line. You are not invisible. You are not a mistake. You are not a delay without purpose. Heaven saw you enduring things that would have taken many people down, and what you call weakness was sometimes just the exhaustion of someone who carried too much weight alone. God doesn't call you for performance, God calls you for truth, and the truth is, you were kept until now because there is still something great for you to fulfill. Now pay attention to what comes next, because this is a central piece of the revelation. A specific person in your life will be shown for who they really are. You will realize that they pretend to help but speak ill of you to others. You will notice that they like to be close when you are weak, but get bothered when you get stronger. You will feel it in your body, in your chest, in your mind. Something is wrong. And Archangel Michael will allow this person to take a wrong step, a big one, so big that their words will turn against them. You will see a quick turnaround. Where they accused you, now you will be defended. Where they diminished you, now the truth will lift you up. But heaven makes it clear. Do not seek revenge. It is not your job. Every time you try to resolve spiritual warfare with human fighting, arguments, over-explaining, asking for understanding from those who don't want to understand, you delay your own blessing. You don't need to justify yourself to those who have already decided to misunderstand you. You need to align with heaven and move on. In a few days, a test will come from God, but in a way you don't expect. It could be someone speaking your name without you imagining it. It could be an old contact coming back. It could be a message from someone who disappeared. It could be an opportunity that appears out of nowhere. But here lies a hidden test. Not every return is restoration. Sometimes it is just repetition trying to come back in new clothes. Some return to see if you have learned to close doors that God has already closed. Some return to measure if you still miss what broke you. Some return to test if you will trade peace for nostalgia. And Archangel Michael is giving you spiritual eyes stronger than ever. You will feel who is real. It doesn't matter the beautiful smile. You will perceive when a message has a lie inside. You will perceive when the conversation brings peace to your chest or mess to your head. And this is a simple rule to keep. The real stabilizes you. The fake confuses you. This word is not just any word. It is a God stop that happens only once, the kind that separates the before and after. You were stuck because you were right in front of this instant, waiting for heaven to speak. Now it has spoken, and heaven says firmly, this chance does not return the same way. Life may go in circles, but certain portals only open when the spirit is ready. And you are ready now, not because everything is perfect, but because you matured in pain. You learned what you needed to learn. Some people had to leave your life on purpose. If they stayed, they would hinder what God has prepared for you now. Their betrayal was disguised protection. God didn't let them see who you were going to become because they would want to boss you around. They would want to control. They would want to keep you small to feel big. But now you're ready to walk without asking permission from those who have no authority over your destiny. But time is short. There is a spiritual choice that is closing. And I want you to hear this without fear, but with seriousness. In 3 days, something defines itself inside you. In 3 days, a door of decision narrows. It's not that God stops loving you after that, but the impulse from heaven asks for an answer now. That is why the instruction is simple and direct. Speak very loudly with your voice, like someone signing a document in the spiritual world. I receive the favor that comes from heaven. I cancel every bad word spoken against me. I walk in the truth that God wrote for my life. Say this 3 times, not as superstition, but as alignment. Because you spent too much time aligning your mouth with fear, now align your mouth with the promise. And when you do this, something begins to move in the direction of your home, your life, your path. It could be a package, a letter, a financial door that opens, a truth that someone swore to keep but will release because the angels are pressing on that person's heart. You will receive a key, maybe not of metal. It might come as a message, as a strong dream, as a light that turns on inside you suddenly, as a clear idea that enters your chest and doesn't leave. But this key opens what was locked. This judgment wanted to silence you, take you out of the game, leave you sitting on the sidelines of life, watching others live. But now you level up. And I say level because that is what happens when heaven repositions you. The same things around you look different because you changed on the inside. A change of location can also happen. A new address, a new city, maybe even a new state, begins to be whispered in your soul. You don't have everything clear yet, but when God moves destiny, He often moves the map too. Don't be afraid if you feel the urge to move house, change jobs, change your circle of people. Sometimes you call it restlessness, but it is direction. Sometimes you call it anxiety, but it is a shift from heaven pushing you away from what holds you. You don't need to run, but you need to stop resisting what God is building. And there is more. There is someone watching you from afar with true admiration. This person stayed quiet out of fear or pressure from others, but is now waking up spiritually. They dream of you, hear your name when they pray, feel a strange peace when they think of you, and they bring a gift that fits perfectly into what God called you to do. Not necessarily a physical gift. Sometimes it is a connection, an opportunity, a partnership, Support you thought you would never have. You won't walk alone forever. But first, you need to become whole so you don't accept fake affection again. Because heaven is warning. There is a counterfeit circulating nearby. And the counterfeit always comes in a hurry. Always comes with guilt. Always comes with confusion. Always comes asking you to shrink to fit. The real brings peace to the chest. The fake brings mess to the head. In at most 2 weeks, someone's mask will fall completely. And I know this might hurt. It will shock. It will liberate. You will realize that what held you wasn't love. It was habit. It wasn't care. It was control. It wasn't friendship. It was self-interest. And when this appears, heaven asks, don't fight. Don't explain. Don't try to convince. Just slip away quietly with peace, because what comes after is too holy to be dirtied with falsehood. This freedom is the reason this word ran to you. That is why Archangel Michael wept tears of light, not out of sadness, but because he knows the weight of what is about to break in the spiritual world. The judgment was real and carried weight. But God's love changed the ending. You were not condemned, you were called. Called for a mission, called to grow, called for clarity, called for peace, called for real love, called for restoration and the guard of angels. This isn't just pretty words. It is the sound of chains breaking. It is a door unlocking. It is delay getting out of the way. It is an invisible hand pushing you forward when you thought you had no more strength. And now I need to enter the second revelation, the one that explains why you felt so many strange things lately. Your spirit became restless at night because it felt what your eyes didn't see yet. God says your soul recognized it first. That quiet woman covered in shadow wasn't just anyone. She was a messenger of destiny, a witness who appears when destiny reaches a final curve. It isn't a demon. It isn't a common angel. It is as if she were a gear piece that only moves in rare moments. Her job is to deliver and vanish. And what she left isn't something you grab with your hand. It is something you receive in your heart. It is an activation that opens in the spirit. That is why, since early on you feel weight without reason, thoughts arrive without being called. A chill runs down your spine when you pass certain places. You look at a corner of the house and feel as if there is a story there. You dream of scenes that seem more real than life. You hear your name in the middle of silence. You see lights flickering and think it's the power. But your body understands something else. It isn't a mess, it is a conversation from heaven. The veil is thin. And when the veil gets thin, common life begins to reveal signs that were always there. Only now you can perceive them. God says, she didn't just leave it, she triggered a switch, and this switch is working now. The angels are attentive. Archangel Michael's wings are still open, because what was left can take you to the heights or trap you, depending on your answer. And I will say it clearly. This isn't superstition. It is spiritual direction. What you do with this opens a door or closes another. That is why Michael asks, respond with prayer, not with fear. Remember the last time you felt an invisible presence, a whisper in your ear with no one near, a shadow that ran too fast, a dream of a woman handing you a key without saying anything. It was all training for today. The key wasn't made of iron. It was a promise. And this promise carries a secret of your next step, of your true identity, and of someone who hasn't arrived yet but will change everything. There is a hidden name inside there. And when you hear that name, your soul will tremble with confirmation. You will know without needing anyone to explain. You will feel as if your chest said, finally. And I am not talking about fantasy. I am talking about alignment. Sometimes your whole life seems misaligned because you haven't found the name of what God placed in you yet. When that name arrives, a lot of things start to make sense. Archangel Michael warns, don't play with this. Evil tried to stop the delivery. Bad forces tried to blind the path of this messenger, tried to confuse, tried to delay. But God's timing won. She arrived, she left it, she went away. Now it is up to you. And with this comes a week of testing. Strange conversations will happen. People from the past will try to return. Someone close will show their true face and leave you open-mouthed. You will notice behavior that doesn't fit. You will notice a suspicious silence. You will receive a message with a tone that doesn't match. And then you will remember this word. Because it all started with her visit. She turned on a chain of exposure. Secrets coming out. Heaven's clock turning. And what she left didn't stop, it is just beginning. God speaks that something alive is already releasing a signal in the air around you, calling the right people, vision, message, and protection. Your environment has leveled up, and I will tell you simply, you may feel alone, but you are surrounded. Archangel Michael has placed 3 guardian angels around your routine. One at the door, one near where you sleep, one who follows you all day. You will notice this in small details. A situation that would go wrong and suddenly changes. A conversation that would be confusing and suddenly is interrupted. A deliverance that looks like luck, mass, but was a guard. A delay that seemed annoying, and later you understand. It protected you. That is how heaven works when it decides to truly protect you. Prepare your eyes to see light in the corner. Prepare your heart for dreams that teach. Prepare your mouth for prayers that come out with new strength. Prepare your mind to perceive when an old enemy gives themselves away without you needing to prove anything. And mainly, prepare your heart for what you can't even imagine. Because when God decides to accelerate, He doesn't apologize for the improbable. He simply moves. If this word is stirring you, I'm going to ask you for a simple seal that isn't just engagement, it is spiritual agreement. Write in the comments, calmly and with faith, "The light that guides me is stronger than any darkness." This phrase places a mark on your day, as if you were saying to heaven and the invisible world, "I will not negotiate with fear. I choose light, I choose truth." And when you write this, you also help this message reach someone who is almost giving up, someone who is tired, someone who is at their limit. Sometimes your phrase becomes the answer for another heart. Now listen to what Michael says about the unlocking, because this is important. You will understand what that woman left when the time comes. It will unlock on a day that hasn't come yet. There will be a letter. There will be a woman crying. There will be numbers repeating, like 333 or 111. When it happens, remember this word. It is the signal for you to act. You might ask, why so much mystery? And God answers, because your spirit has grown. You can handle mystery. You graduated from small prayers to big responsibility. And big responsibility comes with strange things because your life stopped being common and became prophecy. There are people near you who have already felt this, noticed your shine, your calm in the middle of the storm, your way of knowing things no one taught you. That is why they pull away a little, not out of hate, but out of an inability to understand. Don't get mad. God says they aren't ready yet, but soon they will need you. And when they need you, what you understood today will help lift them up. You are being prepared for a confrontation of light. And yes, there is a hidden enemy pretending to be a friend. Their fall is tied to what was left at your door. When you see who it is, don't fight. Don't explain, just leave with peace. What comes after is too holy for falsehood. That place where she stepped was marked in the spirit. The ground shines where no one sees. Angels know. Evil flees. If you are lost, pray there. Sit there. Not as an empty ritual, but as a point of remembrance. God visited me, God marked me, God calls me, and God promises again. So you don't think it is just emotion. In 3 days comes proof that this is real. Lost things return. Broken things work. Someone who disappeared sends a message with a code that your spirit catches instantly. And when this happens, you will realize it isn't a coincidence. It is an answer. Michael says, stay tuned, feel everything. Don't ignore the urge that comes from within. If you feel the urge to call someone, call. If you feel the urge to cancel a plan, cancel. Your spirit is piloting on the map God drew before you were born. You walk on a path others don't see. And starting today, your life gains speed. Not because you forced it, but because heaven marked it. The time has come, you wander no more. You are aligned, seen, chosen, and mostly guarded. And I want to close by reminding you of what sustains all this, because without this you go back to the old cycle. Heaven isn't calling you to feel a lot and do little. It is calling you to choose, to not reopen the door of the past when it knocks looking like nostalgia, to not accept crumbs when you are called to the full table, to not negotiate with lies when the truth is being poured out before you. You are not what they said you were. You are what God always knew you are. Walk, speak light, choose truth, step out of what leaves you numb. Don't go back to what breaks you. The divine clock is running and Archangel Michael awaits your answer. Now, if you reach this far, it is because your heart didn't want to turn away. So I'm going to ask you for the last thing, as a final seal of this word. Repeat one more time, firmly, even if in a whisper. I receive the favor of heaven. I cancel every lie spoken against me. I walk in the truth God wrote for me. And rest, because when you say yes, heaven starts to work where you cannot reach. What was meant to knock you down will lift you up. What was meant to break you will make you fly. You will see with your own eyes. And when the proof arrives, you will remember, I was warned, I was visited, I was guarded. Go in peace. Everything has already started to change. Amen.